The Shepnaz podcast begins now.
You're listening to the Shepnaz podcast, a podcast by Shepherd Church. Everything we do at Shepherd is to connect our community in a meaningful relationship with Christ, and we're expecting great things. My name's Joey. I'll be your host. Today's guest is Jason Gleim. He'll be helping us out during these 21 days of prayer and fasting as we look at our next chapter in Rob McCorkle's book, Life and Death, The Power of Words. After that, we'll talk more with him about his role here at Shepherd and what's happening in his life. So let's dive in. Jason, thanks for taking some time. Be with us today. Grateful to have you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'll be honest. I thought this was the only Murders in the Building podcast. I was expecting Steve Martin and Martin Short, so we are starting off a little disappointed.
We are not that funny, not even close. Well, hey, as we just jump in, we'll let you try to be funny later. We'll start with today's stuff from the 21 days of prayer and fasting. Today, so if you don't know, we've been in 21 days of prayer and fasting here at Shepherd. We are going through Rob McCorkle's book called Life and Death, The Power of Words. We've been kind of challenging the congregation to read along with us and to just be cognizant of what words can do. Today, we're going to look at the chapter called Bridle the Tongue. So, Jason, could you summarize that for us? Kind of what was Rob talking about in that chapter?
Yeah, so I thought this was a great chapter. He was drawing parallels to the bit, how it guides a horse, and how the tongue is sort of our guide as well. And you know, I think to summarize the chapter, we could probably put it in one sentence, and that's that words can be weapons. And as Christians, we need to be very cognizant of the words that are coming out of our mouths and how they can either uplift people or tear them down.
Very good. What's something that maybe kind of challenged you as you read along or kind of jumped out at you as just being something that you really like, I got to remember that?
Yeah, the whole chapter really struck a chord with me because I have two teenage boys, and in my own personal journey, there was a time earlier in my life where, I had a very quick tongue, and I could, that was my way of kind of being able to get back at people. And over the years, I saw how that was destructive behavior for me and for them, and kind of both dishing it out and being a victim of that at times. And so with raising two teenage boys, this is something that we focus on a lot with them, just getting them to realize that the words that come out of their mouth carry weight. And people can say, well, they're just words, they don't really mean anything. But the truth is they do mean a lot. And especially in today's society, it's not just verbal words, but it can be social media and online texting, all kinds of stuff. And you don't have to look far to find plenty of examples of where young people have unfortunately taken their lives because of online bullying and things like that. And it's all just words. But as Rob makes the point in his chapter, those words have weight and have meaning.
Yeah. So what are maybe some practical steps that either you are taking or maybe you could challenge everyone who's listening to this, practical steps that we could take to understand that the tongue is that guide, and what could we do to maybe tame that?
Yeah, that's a good question. By no means do I think I'm a shining example of how to behave. There's plenty of times that I fail, but, at the same time, there's a lot of times where I try to take that second to think to myself, is what I'm about to say going to be respectful and lift this person up, or are my words designed to tear that person down and make them feel bad about themselves? And I think if you approach the people around you, whether you know them or not, with respect and understand that they want to be treated that way, respectfully, and then let your words follow that. I try very hard not to speak poorly about people, whether it's to their face or in a second hand conversation, because that's the kind of stuff that it really serves no purpose to tear somebody down, whether it's to them or whether it's to a friend or an acquaintance or somebody else. The only purpose of doing that is to make you feel better about yourself, but it's a hollow victory. Mm-hmm. So I always try to take a second and think about what I'm going to say before I say it. And oftentimes it means taming the anger, because, that's when most of us fail the most. But that's my main focus in trying to speak properly towards people.
Well, hey, stick around. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, talk to Jason about what God's doing in his life, maybe a little bit about his family and what he gets to be a part of here at Shepherd, so don't go anywhere. As we conclude our 21 days of prayer and fasting in January of 2023, we want to invite you and your family to a praise and worship night on January 29th at 5 p.m. There, we will sing, we will pray, and we will thank God for all that he has done, and as we anticipate what he is going to do, we'll seek him. So don't miss it on January 29th, 5 p.m. right here at Shepherd. If you haven't taken the step of baptism in your life yet, we want to invite you that on February 5th, you could take that step. Baptism is a moment in which you're able to say that Jesus has changed my heart on the inside and I want to proclaim it to the world. If you'd like to sign up for baptism, you can do so by filling out the Connect card, letting us know that, or you can go to our website and on the right-hand side under Contact Us, you can click the link that says, I want to be baptized. Pastor will reach out to you and we will get that scheduled. All right, Jason. Well, hey, thanks once again for being a part of our podcast today. Yeah. I would love to kind of start and see kind of, for all intents and purpose, for me, I don't know if a lot of people would know maybe exactly what you do at Shepherd. They might know you and your family because you've been around a little bit, but would you help people maybe see, this is what I get to be a part of at Shepherd and kind of the ministry that I work in?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm kind of the quintessential behind-the-scenes guy here at the church. My official role is technical director at the church. So if it's technology, if it plugs in, it pretty much falls under my supervision. Yeah. I've got a wonderful team of volunteers that help me with all of the sort of visible technical production, like you would see, lights and sound and video and all the stuff that we do in the sanctuary and in the other parts of the church for all the events that take place. We've got a dozen or so people on that team that help make all of that happen. And I'm very blessed to have a great team there that really helps out. And then on the networking side, I'm also responsible for computer systems, the wireless networking. So like if you come to campus and the guest network's not working, it's my fault. The phone system and all that sort of stuff. So I'm the resident tech guru and take care of all that stuff. Okay.
Awesome. And a little bit ago, you mentioned you've got kids. So tell me a little bit about your family, what's going on in your family life.
Yeah. So I have a wonderful wife. We have been married over 20 years. We have 2 teenage boys, Lucas, who is 17 and a junior at Licking Heights, and Isaac, who is 14 and a freshman at Licking Heights. Okay. And as a parent, when Lucas got his own driver's license and could start driving his brother to school events, that was the highlight of my life recently.
Yeah. A lot of parents are like, that's when they begin to, their hairs get gray, but you were like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. They're both very active at school. Yeah, they are. Marching band. Lucas has got one of the lead parts in the spring musical this year, and Isaac is helping on the stage crew. So choir, lots of after school activities. Yeah, it's funny. People think that the parents of athletes are pretty busy, but
The arts kids. Yeah.
Yeah. There's plenty of activities all across the board to keep kids busy. And it's great to see them involved. But yeah, it was kind of nice when Lucas could start taking some of that responsibility off of my wife and I.
Yeah. I remember when we were kids, we lived out in Galloway, and we were going to school at the Christian school at Grove City Church of the Nazarene. And so my parents were making sometimes 3 trips a day, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but when it's about a 20-minute drive, they were like, forget this. And we just moved to Grove City because it was like, this is silly. Because my sister cheerleaded and I played basketball and we had all this other stuff. Plus we went to youth group there. It was like, so lots of busyness. So.
Yeah.
And none of those schedules ever lined up.
Of course not.
No. So awesome. Well, Jason, it's been great having you on here today. Thankful for your contribution at Shepherd. Thankful for what you do. Kind of one of our kind of unsung people that just makes sure everything happens. So we're thankful for it. That's going to do it for our episode today. And be sure to subscribe wherever you get your audio so you don't miss an episode. We expect great things here at Shepherd. We hope that you'll continue to join us. As always, don't miss what's happening. You can find out through our app, social media pages at shepnaz.org. For Jason, I'm Joey. Thanks for listening and have a great day.
This podcast is a production of the Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, Gahanna, Ohio. Email to podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know what you think.